So let me welcome you to our Rome 4 Advisory Board meeting. I wanted to just clarify or explain that, as you know, we have two meetings. This meeting, the meeting tomorrow for the Advisory Board in general, is to talk about what Rome is doing, and this is to talk about what Rome 4 has found so far. So as a Rome 4 sponsor, we're going to keep you up to date on some of the things. So we just ended a 4.5 hour meeting where all the chapter committees presented slides of what they're working on. And in addition to that, you will be getting in December the drafts prior to it going to final documentation. Just to clarify, this is for feedback and review of all the chapters, whichever ones you want to do. You'll have access to all of them. And it should be done by the scientific group for quality issues on the scientific content. This started because I remember in Rome 3, one of the sponsors had done some meaningful research that was not seen by one of the committees, and the committee had to revisit it and modify. So we want to do this in advance. Also want to mention that you should have picked up, in addition to your brochures, a book that looks like this, because we don't have a lot of time for discussion. It's going to be 8-minute presentations and 2-minute discussion. But any comments you have that you want us to evaluate, we're going to then compile that and then send them to committees if you have recommendations, criticisms, suggestions. And in the meanwhile, Ami Sperber and Ceciel are going to take notes of any comments or items that come up during the discussion. So your booklet, the way we've set this up, I'm going to end in a second. If you look at the book itself, you've got some presentations, and then you also have the cross-cultural report, and I think that's it. Is that any other reports in here?
No, that's the only one.
Okay. And then, so Ceciel's going to talk about the plans for publication, a lot of exciting ways that we're going to be doing this publication. And then we decided that we can't really present to you all 16 chapters, and I'm not sure you are necessarily interested in neonatal toddler unless you have a product for neonatal toddlers. So we're covering the main criterion chapters, and then we're going to have other presentations of committees that have derived some data, the multinational research, the questionnaire committee, how we're validating it, and the primary care committee, because one of our big initiatives is to try to make this meaningful for primary care physicians as well, and across cultures. And then we'll have a general discussion. So any questions about? Okay, let me ask Ceciel to come up and tell you something about publication.
So we've really been working hard to finalize all of our plans for publication for Rome 4. And as we mentioned last year, we'll have an electronic book. The computer-based learning program will be revised. We'll have a printed book in 3 volumes. We will have this special issue in gastroenterology. The algorithms will be also updated, and then there'll be a plethora of other books as well, pocket guides and primary care books and the like. So the electronic book is the one that the chairs and co-chairs are working very diligently on currently. We are currently working on our second draft of the online book, which is unlimited in the amount of images, animations, word count, links. So we're anticipating a very large, robust electronic form of our book. With the electronic book, which is an online access, we are planning to sell this in a way that people can just purchase a license, a forever license for the Rome 4 book, or be able to rent that for short periods of time. As a sponsor of the Rome 4 project, you will be given a limited number of licenses for your company to use. The computer-based learning program is is underway. We're really starting to get a lot of steam on the images for the Rome 4 project. Jerry Schoendorf is working hard. We'll be converting some of the Rome 3 images to Rome 4, but there also will be many new images that will be created just for Rome 4. The printed book has now expanded into 3 volumes. We've decided that 1 was definitely not enough, 2 was going to be tight, so we've created a 3rd volume, which will be resource materials. These volumes can be purchased as a 3-volume set, or they will be offered individually as well, so that should be helpful. And of course, Bill Hassler is working with us at the Journal of Gastroenterology, and this process will begin in the chapter committees in January. So beginning January 1, they will begin to trim down their chapter to fit the word count for the Gastroenterology Journal. Algorithms is an ongoing process. We anticipate most chapters to begin work on this on January 1 as well. However, some of the chapters have already begun revising and adding new algorithms to their chapters, but this, again, is not slated on our timeline to start till January. And the other books that we will have a pocket guide of some sort for clinicians that will include algorithms and criteria. We're still working on what that's going to look like exactly, but that is something that we will be doing. We will have a separate pediatric book, which will include the pediatric chapters, the pediatric criteria, and then the primary care book, which will be much more robust this year as we've spent so much time working on that with Polly, and he will have an update for you a little bit later. The multidimensional clinical profile is new, and it will be published separately as well as in the Rome book, and that process is well underway with about 21 cases already created, and there'll be more to come to add to this. So that's another project that we are definitely been moving forward on and have had a lot of progress. So this is all of the materials that are coming out of our Rome 4 project. It's a lot more than Rome 3. It's been a great project, and we appreciate all your support.